My name is Anastasia and this is my husband Patrick. We are at the final stages of this remodel and we are both exhausted and tired, but also very, very excited because you can start seeing all the final pieces coming together.
We interviewed many different contractors and we were exhausted. We were done. We didn't want to talk to anyone else. It's like, oh, I have one more scheduled. We're like, let's just reschedule it. It's like, no, let's be done. And I'm so glad we did. Because the very first time we met Ray, I think we spent 2.5 hours with Ray. There was a lot of synergy around making it work, where the other ones were telling us what they can do. And it felt very different.
I think that because we've done a lot of the projects ourselves too, we've done a lot of the outside work and a little bit on the inside, but Patrick is quite handy and he does have a lot of vision. So I think Ray, from that first interview, it was very clear that he saw that. He was inclusive, which majority of the contractors just don't have. They offer something and it's very, very cut and dry. And I think that that's what really draws us in, that there is that flow a little bit and communication, but at the same time, he brings that expertise that we don't have, like what might go wrong or what would be really expensive. And so then it grounded us a lot in our design and our ideas and our imagination. And so I think that that was really helpful. And so if anybody of my friends and family wanted to renovate the house, I think that's what I would really highlight, that he really wants to include you and your vision. He really, really wants to make that vision alive and make it to fruition. So I think that that's what was really different.
So our model started with a complete gut. We tore everything out back in December and started with electrical and plumbing. They tore out some walls. It feels much more open inside. Our values are to build lasting things that don't require as much upkeep and aren't damaging to the environment. And Ray was able to see that vision and was very flexible with that. And it took a lot of his patience to work with the city. The inspectors came out numerous times to talk about this stuff. Every time we had those tough meetings with the city or even the engineer, we quickly realized that there's a special way to talk to engineers that we don't know and special ways to talk to the city so that they do the things that we need them to do and everything lines up. So we leave these meetings very frustrated, not thinking that we'd be able to accomplish our goals. And one thing that Ray does very, very, very well is letting us know that he's on our side and then that it's handled, that there is a solution. And then Ray would say, I got it. I'd have a side conversation with Ray and I'd feel so good afterwards because he knew what we wanted. And it was just a few minutes of his time to help us feel supported in every conversation with them.
And there's also this emotional piece to this whole thing. Patrick, for example, tends to be solution-oriented, whereas for me, a lot of times I approach this with more emotional side, like how it impacts myself and kids. And so there was a time where I reached out to Ray on my own and had a conversation. I very, very honestly laid it out, like how this is impacting us and what are the challenges we're facing. And again, with how Ray does it, I don't know how, but very non-confrontational. He kind of laid it out and you very much at the end of conversations feel like he's got it. Like he's got you and he's got a vision to complete this.
He has a way, a charisma of talking to people to solve problems. So it's inclusive, but solution focused instead of dwelling on, this isn't gonna work. We can't do that. From Ray, we heard a lot of yeses, let's figure it out. I don't think I've heard Ray say no, but he has shown us this might be better, or what if we did this? The current design even is something he suggested. We had a whole different layout, a much bigger door, more costly, more engineering. And I think we like the layout better now because we included him in the process. One thing that was important to us is that we understand what's happening in our project. I'm very involved because we like to be involved. We've literally been shoveled in dirt and the kids have shoveled dirt. We've been under the house, we've been on the roof, we've seen it all. And I really appreciate that Ray has allowed us to do that. One thing that Ray does very well is letting us know that he's on our side and then that it's handled.
The communication has been very, very consistent throughout this project. Anytime we have questions, he would get back to us really promptly. We have Teams channel where we can basically either tag particular people or the entire group. And so that's been really, really helpful because then we can communicate pretty quickly on various questions or decisions or solutions. We would communicate. It was seen back and forth. We were perfectly aligned.
So the drywall is up, the floors are in, the cabinets are in, the counters are being put on. There's someone running around cutting tiles and putting those in. So all that work is culminating in this finished look. We're finally getting to see it. So with any luck, in about 2 weeks, we'll be living here, not just visiting. And at that point, we'll be thinking about what's next, what else do we need to do. But we'll be hopefully done with Ray and Ray will be done with us. Because if I really think about it, I really want to ask Ray if he'd recommend us as clients. Because I know we're not the best to work with, but we really enjoyed this process. I'm here every day, so I have a great relationship with the team. I think I know them pretty well, actually. And so I feel pretty good being here. In fact, I find I'd rather be here even if the house is a mess and they're tearing stuff out then where we're living. Because at the end of the day, this is my home, and they very much made me feel like they're building our home. Right now it's just a house, but it will be our home, and that's what they're creating.